you'll believe a man can talk to fish. Welcome to Watch Mojo UK, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 things you missed in Aquaman.
My parents were from different worlds. And I was a product of a love that never should have been.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're taking a look at Easter eggs, cameos, and other details that likely eluded you in 2018's Aquaman. Proceed with caution if you haven't seen the movie yet. Number 10. Similarities to the new 52 Aquaman. Aquaman has developed a reputation as one of DC's goofier heroes, but writer Geoff Johns strived to make the character more complex with the new 52 relaunch in 2011. Johns also worked on the story for this 2018 film, which shares more than a few elements in common with his comic contributions.
Your half-brother King Orm is about to declare war upon the surface world.
In both incarnations, half-Atlantean Arthur Curry is torn between the surface world and taking his rightful place as King of Atlantis. Receiving backup from Mera, Arthur faces several villains, including a race of underwater creatures called the Trench and Black Manta, who blames Aquaman for his father's death. Arthur additionally clashes with his half-brother Orm, also known as Ocean Master, for the throne of Atlantis. Number 9. Jason Momoa's real-life hero. Jason Momoa plays the titular hero, but he got to share the screen with his personal hero in this film. Arthur's father, Thomas Curry, is played by Temuera Morrison, who you might recognize as Jango Fett and, by extension, the clone troopers in the Star Wars prequels. Momoa, meanwhile, best knew of Morrison through his performance in Once Were Warriors, which reportedly inspired him while playing Khal Drogo on Game of Thrones.
Not for their royal highness, tell them everything, why don't you?
Momoa thus made a push for Morrison to play his father and totally geeked out upon meeting his idol. It's no wonder why Momoa and Morrison share such a natural bond in Aquaman, immediately convincing the audience that they're father and son. Number 8. Atlanteans no longer talk in bubbles.
The time has come for Atlantis to rise again.
Amber Heard had an extended cameo as Mera in Justice League, where she persuaded Arthur to join the fight against Steppenwolf.
It would have been her responsibility to follow that monster to the surface and stop it. Now, it's yours.
In order to communicate with him underwater, though, she engulfed them both inside a bubble. Director James Wan felt the filmmakers were overthinking the logistics of Atlantis, which is why no air bubbles are used to get dialogue across in Aquaman. Rather, people simply talk to each other while submerged in water as if they're on land. This was probably a wise creative choice, as it might have been distracting if the Atlanteans had to make a bubble every time somebody needed to get a word in, especially in the midst of battle.
But what could be greater than a king?
Number 7. Djimon Hounsou as the Fisherman King. If you thought Djimon Hounsou was unrecognizable in Guardians of the Galaxy, try to spot him in Aquaman.
Who?
Hounsou plays the Fisherman King, who's reportedly brought to life through a mix of practical makeup effects and CGI. What makes this casting choice so interesting is that it's not Hounsou's only role in the DC Extended Universe. He also plays the wizard Shazam, who grants his powers to Billy Batson in Shazam.
Say my name so my powers may flow through you.
But I don't know your name, sir.
Shazam.
Are you for real?
Say okay!
Shazam?
We can't help but wonder if Hounsou will be restricted to playing 2 DC characters, or if his presence will become a running gag for the DCEU, similar to John Ratzenberger in the Pixar universe.
Dr. Porkchop! That's Mr. Evil Dr. Porkchop to you.
Number 6. Lovecraft Influences. Being his first superhero film, James Wan ventured into uncharted waters with Aquaman, although traces of his horror roots are still present. Shortly after Arthur's parents meet, a copy of The Dunwich Horror by H.P. Lovecraft can be found underneath a snow globe. Wan actually described the inhabitants of the trench as fun sea creatures that Lovecraft would love. You can also definitely see how a cosmic entity like Cthulhu might have inspired some of the film's giant sea creatures. The Dunwich Horror notably revolves around 2 brothers, one of whom appears more mortal than the other. Sounds a bit like half-brothers Arthur and Orm, who share the same mother but come from different worlds.
In the wrong hands, it would bring destruction.
Number 5. Oh look, it's Adam from Saw.
You say that like you know me.
Leigh Whannell not only played Adam Stanheight in the original Saw, but also co-wrote the screenplay with director James Wan. Whannell and Wan have since collaborated on several other projects, including the Insidious movies. Whannell makes a blink-and-you'll-miss-it cameo in Aquaman as well, playing the pilot who gives Arthur and Mera a lift to the Sahara Desert. Whannell's character is thrown for a loop when Mera jumps out of the cargo plane without a parachute, and Arthur follows.
We're here.
What are you doing? Wait.
She never parachute.
Redheads! You gotta love them.
Of course, these two Atlanteans both have superhuman strength to break the fall. Otherwise, it would have been game over. Number 4. Enter Stephen Shin.
I'll be seeing you again.
Where?
Huh?
Where will you be seeing me again?
Like, in general, I'll see, like, the next time you do something bad, I'll be there.
Barely 6 months after appearing as Agent Jimmy Woo in Ant-Man and the Wasp, actor Randall Park pops up as Dr. Stephen Shin in Aquaman. Created by Jeff Johns and Ivan Rice, this marine biologist is a friend of the Currys who teaches Arthur how to use his powers in the New 52 comics. When Arthur refuses to give up Atlantis' location though, Shin attempts to kill him. Shin's role is radically condensed in this 2018 film, as he briefly appears on a news program where he debates the existence of Aquaman. Shin does resurface upon rescuing Black Manta during a mid-credit scene, however, meaning we'll likely see more of him in the future.
This must all seem like a bunch of confusing grown-up stuff to you, huh?
Number 3. Topo the Octopus. Given this movie's edgier take on Aquaman, you'd think that the filmmakers would keep a more light-hearted character like Topo as far away as possible. Making his debut in a 1956 issue of Adventure Comics, this octopus was one of Aquaman's most loyal animal companions.
I'll never finish in time!
Over the years, the character evolved from a humanoid squid to a massive sea monster. The Topo in this film has more in common with his initial incarnation, however. Just as the original Topo could play multiple musical instruments at once, the octopus plays a set of drums during Arthur's first gladiator match with Orm. His appearance may be short-lived, but it's an awesome reference for die-hard DC fans nonetheless. Number 2. Julie Andrews as Karathen.
Mary Poppins were much too excited.
Very well, suit yourselves.
Weirdly enough, Julie Andrews turned down the opportunity to make a cameo in Mary Poppins Returns, but she does lend her voice to a character in Aquaman, which comes out the same week.
That's why I live and breathe.
Andrews voices a kaiju-like sea creature known as Karathen, who wasn't a prominent figure in any of the comics, but plays a crucial role in Arthur's journey to recover Atlantis' trident. Since she's best known for playing loving, nurturing characters like Maria von Trapp, it's hard to imagine Andrews as a monstrous leviathan. Yet she brings real gravitas to the role, coming off as elegant and intimidating. Even when given just a little screen time, Andrews is a larger-than-life presence.
Oh, please, Captain, love them all!
I don't care to hear anything further from you about my children!
I am not finished yet,
Oh,
Captain!
yes, you are, Captain!
Number 1. Annabelle. The DCEU isn't the first cinematic universe James Wan has worked on. He also directed The Conjuring, which went on to inspire spin-offs like The Nun and Annabelle.
Demons can't just take souls, Mia. Soul needs to be offered to the demon before it can take it.
Speaking of which, the demonic doll from the Conjuring universe is hidden in a scene from Aquaman. After agreeing to aid Mera, Arthur boards her vessel under the sea. If you look closely during this sequence, you'll find Annabelle sitting at the bottom of the ocean. If that wasn't enough to bridge these two franchises together, Patrick Wilson plays the Ocean Master and Ed Warren. If Lex Luthor and Deathstroke are putting a Legion of Doom together, they should really fish Annabelle out of the water.
To put it plainly, shouldn't we have a league of our own?
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from Watch Mojo UK and subscribe for more great content.